Aha! It looks like we are live. But with this being a live stream, I will do my usual thing of giving it a couple of minutes for maybe someone to actually show up. So we are here to do our next long distance run. This is despite the fact that the first one that I did was not what you would call a resounding success. The first one was London to Edinburgh, and I mean the run itself was fine, but it was all very quiet. So hopefully this one will have a bit more happening as far as from people watching, if anyone does actually watch, which is by no means guaranteed. And also, well, this one is quite a bit shorter. So the first one, say, was London to Edinburgh. This one we're doing another capital to capital, but this one is London to Cardiff. So the total distance that we're going to be covering is only about 150 miles, as Jim has shown up. So yeah, it's a lot shorter than the first one. I mean, it's less than half the distance of the first one. So for one thing, I haven't needed to start this at an earlier time. We're back to the usual 7:30 start time, and I don't think it's going to take us that long to do. In fact, I think there are some request videos I've done that actually took longer to do than this run is going to. I think, anyway. So, right, let's bring up the old quick drive thing. So, in order to do this, we've got to do it in 3 parts across 3 routes. So the first part is actually quite short, from Paddington to Reading. That is, I'm not even sure, it's 35 miles. It's a very short part. The second part, which is also the problematic part because of the route DLC, will take us from Reading to Bristol Temple Meads. So that is by quite some distance the longest section of the run. And then the third and final part takes us from Temple Meads to Cardiff Central itself. And the train we are going to be in, I mean, it's not a bad choice of train by any stretch. The Class 43, Intercity 125, the original high-speed train. But I was kind of forced into taking this because of the issues that I have with the Southwestern Expressways route DLC, and of the total number of locomotives that I have, which I think, well, if you include all of the various livery options and that I've got somewhere in the region of 155 of them. And I can use 4 on that one route. Thankfully this is one, so we are going to be using a high-speed train, so we're not going to be crawling along in some slow old commuter DMU or something. So I'll give it until I've finished this my current Terrier, and then we'll get things underway. So I can also tell you that I have no fewer than 5 videos lined up, one of which is an actual request. I got a request last night from old Laserjet Jordan, and he wants me to do basically the return trip of one of the previous videos. So for his one there, yeah, we're going to be in the class 385, going from Alloa back to Glasgow Queen Street. So that's one to keep an eye on, or keep an eye out for. The other 4, well, the next one after that request will be the long-awaited London to Birmingham run. Now I know, yeah, some of you who will be watching the playback of this are thinking, hang on, you've done London to Birmingham several times already. Which is true, I have, but not this way, because this way is on the Chiltern line. So yeah, completely different start and finish points, not to mention the various stations along the way. So yeah, that's one that is very much overdue. And then of the other 3, one will see the return of the class 89, making another fairly long distance high speed run in that. Another sees the debut of the class 503 on this channel. I would say it's a long overdue one. I've not had it that long, and there are very few videos on YouTube showing the class 503 in this game, so I figured, yep, we'll do that. I can tell you now, it's running absolutely nowhere near where it used to run when it was up and running, but I don't really have much option there. And then the final one of the vids that I have lined up sees the class 395, which is definitely not a favourite loco of mine, but it's going to be on a route where it might actually do okay. Certainly a downside better than when it's on the London Faversham high speed line, which is, well, yeah, high speed does not describe the vast majority of that route. So anyway, we currently have a staggering 2 concurrent viewers, and yeah, I know Jim is certainly one of them, as he has made his presence known. So okay, I've finished my terrier, so let's get this up and running. Just to go through the specifics. It is autumn, it is clear weather, because I suspect we're going to have quite a few exterior shots, so yeah, we'll have the weather actually clear. And it's 11 AM, because why not? Okay, now we can get it up and running. Now I can also let you know that as far as stops, the only stops that I have sort of in mind are the stops where I'm having to change the route DLC I'm using. So yeah, we've got Reading, we've got Bristol, Temple Meads, and we've got Cardiff Central. So if there are any additional stops that you want to see along the way, let us know while we are actually doing the run. On both of them, as you're on the telly, and my phone for the chat. Oh, there you go. So yes, the 2 concurrent viewers are both Jim. Makes him sound like he's schizophrenic or something. So yeah, I guess really I'm just telling you then, Jim. Yeah, if you want any more stations or any more stops on the way, let me know, because there's no other sod here. So yeah, it's going to be entirely down to you. I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear that. So here we are. So first things first, yes, it is in the first livery. It is not in the archetypal British Rail livery. So I figured, as we are on the first Great Western Line, let's use a first livery. I did have the option of using the green, the actual GWR livery, but I don't know if that will fuck this thing up when we start trying to use the Southwestern Expressways, whereas I know this livery works on there because I've tried it once before. Swindon if you're going near it. Unfortunately not. Our route takes us south of Swindon, so yeah, we are not going to be able to go that way. Yeah, the route we are taking is it's not the route that the trains would actually use if they were doing a London to Cardiff run. Our route is a bit different. And did you reboot your PC before the stream? Yes, I did. I actually remembered. That was something I was pretty eager to do because, well, we've seen plenty of, you know, FPS loss in, especially when I do my videos on the Midlands mainline network. It looks great, but the FPS drop was quite bad. Now, I don't think this is going to completely cure that, but hopefully it will at least improve things. So it looks like all the doors are shut. Here is our full length car, or full length train. So it is 8 passenger coaches and the front and rear cars. Right, let's continue setting things up. There is not a lot to actually set up in here because there are no instrument lights, there are no cab lights, and I don't need the windscreen wipers because yeah, they are all set. Headlights are on. Reverser is set. So Reading is 35.77 miles away. Like I say, this first part is really not very long at all. So let's get underway. We are leaving Paddington. I do quite like the entrance and exit to Paddington because unlike so many of the London terminuses, it's actually quite flat and you're not going through like 1,000,001 tunnels as you enter or exit the station. It's all quite open. So it's actually quite nice. So onto the 40 section already. Can you stop at Slough / Slough? I don't know if Slough is after Reading, isn't it? Or is it? Bearing in mind the direction we're travelling, what do we come to first, Slough or Reading? I think it is Slough. Oh, it's me not paying attention again. Should be before Reading, it's just past Heathrow. Well, I mean, we're going nowhere near Heathrow. If it's before Reading, then I'm not sure it's on this route. But if it is, then yeah, we will stop there. We're entering the 50 zone. Right, try that now. Although we're only going to gain another 10 mph. However, the 100 mph zone coming up in about 3/4 of a mile. That is, yes, much better. Did you just pass Grenfell Tower? I think we might have done. I mean, trouble is there's so many of these bloody tower blocks that look all exactly the same. But that there might be Grenfell Tower. So entering the 100 zone, just wait for the rest of the train to get in. There we go, right, time for some proper speed. Now, as I am pretty certain that this long distance run is going to be over a lot quicker than the first one, if there's time I'll do one bonus career run. So if there is a particular career scenario, or at least a particular route that you want to see a career scenario done on, yeah, let us know. I think this is Acton we are just going through. Oh, there's a big old train depot at Acton. Oh, we get a trackside view straight away. Look at that. What a great sight that is. A fantastic soundtrack to go with it. We have another trackside view as we approach Ealing Broadway. Well, we're not stopping at Ealing Broadway, that is for sure. I just had to make sure that I wasn't being asked to stop there. We have Country Roadist here. So, yeah, as is always the case with the old 43s, our acceleration up to 100 has been pretty good. The trouble is, once we reach 100, the acceleration is not so great from then onwards. So here we are at Ealing Broadway. Only time I've been here has always been via the Central Line Underground. I've never been, actually no, tell I have been through it a few times overground on the Heathrow Express. I'm wondering how close the track you're on is to the Elizabeth line. That does pretty much the same route from Paddington. Yeah, I think part of the Elizabeth line actually runs along this route we're on. It either forms part of the Great Western Main Line or it runs alongside it, but yeah, it would be up here now with us. I found you from Alan's channel a while back. Is that Alan Mainmeister by any chance? Cannot for the life of me remember what that station was. Southall station coming up. Mainmeister, yeah, I thought it might have been. Partly because he's about the only person I can remember I know called Alan. Does play a bit of a role in that. Actually, I'll tell a lie as we go through Southall. There is another Alan I know. I knew him from school, but he's moved to Denmark, so I'm not likely to get him and Mainmeister mixed up. Hayes and Harlington next. Isn't Hayes sort of around Staines way? it's certainly Middlesex anyway, which I know Staines was. Here is Hayes and Harlington Station, not a particularly memorable one. West Drayton next station. Yeah, I can't remember where the Elizabeth line stops on the west of London. East of London, I know it goes as far as Shenfield, and that's effectively where it terminates there. But yeah, on the west side, I'm guessing Heathrow Airport, but it is only a guess. So, West Drayton, utterly forgettable station there. Nothing memorable about it at all. So Ivor is the next one. I have a feeling that's another one where the station is just a bugger all nothing. So yeah, Ivor Station, yeah, just as forgettable as I thought it was. Langley is the next one, again that's going to be a pretty forgettable one. Elizabeth line has multiple endpoints to the west, trains serving out of Reading, I didn't know it went as far as Reading. Heathrow Airport, terminals 4 and 5, Shenfield in the east and Abbeywood in the southeast. Yeah, I didn't know it went as far as Reading there. So here we are at Langley, and considering the number of platforms this station has, it really is a bugger all nothing of a place. And here comes Slough, so we do get Jim's first stop. We didn't quite make 125, but we weren't far off it. I think we were up to 123. Really need to get these brakes going a bit faster. I'm going to overshoot part of this. I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as, yeah, I thought it was going to be far worse than this. I mean, it's not great, but well, yeah, the end carriages were able to open up, so yeah, some people were able to get off. And bearing in mind that I started braking and we were still over a mile away from here, yeah, that weren't great. Right, doors have shut. Let's get back underway. None of this gradual speed limit increase guff. We are straight away on a 125 mph section. You mean the door has shut? Well, yeah, the one, yeah. So, yeah, is this a route that you've got? I can never remember which route DLCs you had in this game or not. Don't think I have it, okay. I mean, yeah, trackside view is normally pretty good, but yeah, it took a bit. Yeah, we're getting plenty of the trackside views here. Not had one of the rather boring overhead ones. That one. So, Taplow Station is next one coming up. We're not bothering with that one. It must be Didcot. What must be Didcot? Are you serving snacks from the trolley on this journey? If there's any left after I've got my hands on them, then maybe, but yeah, I wouldn't bet on it. Power station cooling towers. I don't remember seeing any, but then again, I mean, we are a fair distance from Didcot, so I don't think it will be. Anyway, that's Taplow Station. That was a riveting one, wasn't it? So Maidenhead next, but we actually get put on the avoiding line, which I am more than okay with. Avoiding Maidenhead is something that I highly recommend everyone do. Hello, Canalager and the Scotch egg. Well, the Scotch eggs would all be left because yeah, I'm not, yeah, not keen on those. So yeah, you can have as many of them as you like. So, yep, there is Maidenhead. Piss off. In place. Really have no regard for Maidenhead whatsoever. I don't know what's worse, Maidenhead or Henley. I mean, the two are right slap bang next to each other. You can really see how much the acceleration is slowed down by it. And getting up to 100 no problem. It's taken us a hell of a long time to get through the hundreds. Right out in the middle of nowhere now. I'm guessing we're in Berkshire. It is Berkshire, isn't it, that Reading's in? I've no idea what that AWS was for. Yeah, the signal's green, so there's no speed reduction coming up, so yeah, I have no idea why that went off. This part of the route must all be electrified now if the Thin Lizzy line is running through it. Yeah, I think, well actually aren't the trains that run on the Elizabeth line, I think they're dual mode. They may have diesel engines. I don't know for certain. I think that might be the case. But yeah, I would imagine the Great Western Line is at least electrified as far as Reading. We are approaching Twyford Station. But the South Western Expressways, which we are going on to, none of those I think have been electrified. Twyford, about as memorable as I don't know, about as memorable as the last Star Wars film. So Reading is now only 4 miles away. Can we actually reach 125 before we have to start slowing for Reading? We're on 123 at the moment. I don't think we are going to do it. So that's warning us about the speed reduction. So yeah, I'm afraid 123 was the best we were able to do. We are going to be diverted as well. And the Reading station is now on the route display. So believe it or not, the first part of this run is already very nearly at an end. So we'll continue breaking down to 40 because, yeah, the gap between the 50 and 40 is barely the length of this loco we're in, let alone the entire train. Okay, so fine there, did a much better job of that one than we did at the Slough stop. This is the area where there are loads of speed changes and no signs telling us what they are or where they are. So there's one coming up here. Oh, that's for 40 still. I don't know if we're going to be sent on that line. No, we're not. Yeah, see, it's now gone down. Well, actually, the line speed has gone up to 50, but okay, that's fine. The end car there, of course, that is not a coach, so it doesn't matter if that's not on the green section. It is anyway, so there we are. So we have arrived at Reading. Does seem a bit ridiculous that that's the first part of the run done, but yeah. This is where we need to change route. So first part one done. One speeding error. By my standards, that's doing really well. Just looked, their class 345 Aventra overhead power as overhead only. Okay. Right, let's get the next part set up. So this is the part then where I'm thinking this is where it could all go wrong. As we go on to the Southwestern Expressways. So we are starting at Reading and we are going to Bristol. Now, which way do we want to go? This way where it doesn't tell us via wherever, or this one via Newbury? You get your choice. I also didn't see what the time was. Let's be very generous with the time and say 12. via Newbury. Okay. Right, so this then is the setup for part 2. It's already been bypassed once. Okay. So, right, let's see then if this will work okay. I've tried it once. I have even been able to record a run on this line. What was it? Western Supermare to Bath that I did in a 166. That's using this line. That's the only part of this route that I've actually driven. So yeah, I don't know what to expect as far as you know, what we are going to encounter on this part of this run. Isn't that exciting? And it's crashed. So right, let's start the game again. And this time I don't think there'll be too many complaints actually if I change the livery of the loco, but I'll change it to one that should work fine. So let us know if, I mean, according to the display here, it can now actually be seen. You're not got just a blank screen, so you can see it, yeah. H3 between Portsmouth and London used to go through Newbury, and they recently built a bypass tunnel. Lots of environmentalists protesting up the trees. It always is. Okay, so according to yeah, my screen here, you can see the game. Is that right? Yep, can see it. Right, okay. Right, let's change the okay, so we are now back in the old so during this stop we were able to give the train a bit of a respray. Right, and no, we want Reading, Bristol via Newbury. Right, let's try this again. Well, the loading has got further than it did last time. This one does take a while to load because, well, I mean, it's a long old route that it's loading up. There's about 220 miles of track in this particular route, so yeah, it always does take a while. There we are. So we're gonna set up the train again. We're on platform 4, so we're right next to the platform when we arrived. There's no doubt about it. It looks a lot better in this livery than it did in the last one. Train number is 43057, so it's not actually that much different to the one we were in. Anyway, let's let anyone who wants on get on. While we're doing that, let's set things up. Cab looks identical, which is hardly surprising because the only thing that's changed is the livery outside. Also means there isn't much needs doing in here. So we have a 166 coming in the far side there. I think the doors have just shut, haven't they? Yeah. Okay, let's get back underway. So that infuriating issue with the game crashing while loading, I am fairly certain I know what's causing it. And I'm also fairly certain I know how to fix it. But knowing how to fix it and actually being able to do it, two very different things. So yeah, this is where we turn off the Great Western Main Line. And this is why this route that we're taking is so different to the route that would normally be done if you were going from London to Cardiff. Because yeah, if you were doing that journey, you would stay on the Great Western Main Line right the way through to Bristol, and you would stop at Bristol Parkway station. So we're now into a 50 zone. We're not going to stop at Reading West. But yeah, if you know any stations on this stretch of the line that you want us to stop at, then let me know. Or if you see a station and think, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll stop there, but you'll obviously have to let me know pretty soon once you see it, because I'm not going to have a huge amount of time to bring us down to a halt. So here we are through Reading West. Now in the 60 mph section, we will very soon be entering a 100 mph section. But if you're going via Newbury, you may as well stop there, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, even if I put it at the lowest throttle setting, our speed goes up. So yeah, we're having to completely coast for now. entering the 100 mph zone as soon as we get the chance. Do that now. There we go. Yeah, now we get the endless overhead views. We get to hear that nigh on symphonic sound of the Class 43 engine. It's such a great sound, that. I don't know if that's pronounced Seal or Teal, but however it's pronounced, that's the next station. So this section of the run is more than double the, there's a lot more than double the previous section. In fact, this section of the run is more than half the entire journey. So here is Seal, Teal. Not the most remarkable of stations, but oh, and I'm managing to speed. Oh, this is handy. Keeping it 20% throttle, it looks like it's keeping our speed at, well, very nearly a constant. It is still going down, but at a very, very slow rate. I'm quite okay with that. So next station is Aldermaston. It looks like one hell of a small station. We're definitely not stopping there. There's no way we'd be able to fit, well, not even a quarter of the train on that platform. I keep thinking I see the chat message sort of like scrolling and that someone else has written something, and no, there's bugger all there. So here is Aldermaston station. Yeah, that is a tiny one. I mean, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be, but yeah, that's not saying very much. So we have a speed reduction as we approach Midgham. Quite why we need to be doing 95 as we go through that section and then back up to 100, I don't know. So that's the warning for the 95 mph section. I mean, it's a difference of 5 miles an hour. I can't see it being that useful. There's another 166 passes. That one was so small that might have been a 165. So there we go, Midgham Station. Another one of those blink and you miss it ones. So we are entering the 100 mph zone. Thatcham Station is the next one. I've never heard of any of these places. You and me both. Not familiar with these at all. Colthrop Crossing. Isn't that the guy from Day of the Jackal? Before anyone says yes, I know it was Calthrop in that, but it's close enough. Yep, there we are, Thatcham Station. I mean, it looks fairly modern. Also looks utterly forgettable again. A 110 mph zone fast approaching, a mile and a half. I'm going to treat myself to a proper fag. Straight away get a load of smoke in my eyes. So, as soon as I enter the 110 zone, I've got to slow down anyway because, it's Newbury Racecourse, not Newbury Station itself. But I do still have to slow down anyway because, yeah, we are turning off a set of points, which is where that 40 is, and then we have Newbury town itself. So I'm not going to accelerate because there really is no point in me doing so. We'll accelerate once we are back in that 110 zone, once we have left Newbury Station. Newbury Racecourse is right there. It's the main grandstand. Here we have the somewhat run down looking station for it. That's just turned green, that signal up ahead. It looks like it's going to put us onto the line to the right. No. Okay, taking us to the left. So, this is Newbury. Snobby old place if ever there was one. But considering we've already been through Maidenhead, yeah, this is certainly not the most snobby place we're going to be going to on this journey. Thankfully we've already got that over and done with. Okay, doors are all shut. Let's get back underway. We'll give it some of the old full thrash as we leave. Never tire of that sound. Well, hopefully tomorrow we'll see the start of a Halloween sale on Steam. If it does, I've got 3, maybe even 4 routes in mind that I want to pick up. But if it doesn't, I still have one route, admittedly quite a short one, but it is still a new route on Just Trains that I want to pick up. And I will almost certainly pick up the class 153 loco as well. But yeah, if the Steam sale is on, I won't get either of those two yet. But I will be getting the routes that I'm after on Steam instead. One of those routes does include a new loco, so I will have at least one new loco tomorrow. Either the 153 or the 320. You got the snobbiest place done when you did Tunbridge. You're confusing that with Tunbridge Wells. I mean, Tunbridge Wells is a snobby place, but compared to Maidenhead, it's a slum. You know, I think Maidenhead and Henley may well be the 2 snobbiest places in the whole of Britain. Although there are several places in Gloucestershire that come close. So anybody else got any plans of picking up some Train Simulator Classic DLC if the Halloween sale goes ahead? So, next station is Kintbury. Again, I've never heard of it. We'll just go straight through that. Looks like quite a small station. And we've got to coast through a bit because there is a speed decrease just after there. I've not got any specifics, but I'll certainly be taking a look and treating myself to a fuel DLC. I can think of a couple that I would absolutely recommend for you, but Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I'm not even entirely certain that there is going to be one. There usually is, but I mean, we had a sale very recently, so I'd be surprised, even though this is steam we're talking about, I would be surprised if there was another one so soon. So there's Kintbury Station. Yeah, what a memorable sight that was, eh? Hungerford next. Isn't Hungerford where there was some sort of like mass shooting at one point? So that's a class 59 there. Wasn't expecting to see one of those. The 66, yeah, you see them everywhere, but not 59. Yeah, Hungerford, there was a mass shooting there which resulted in our strict gun laws, unlike certain other country. That certain other country, mass shootings are an everyday occurrence. But they are much more concerned with the rights to carry automatic, you know, bloody firearms over the rights to be able to walk around and not be at risk of being shot by some fucking head case. So yeah, it's going to continue happening there. Right, back into a 90 zone. Let's get some speed up. So the frustrating thing about this issue that I'm having with this line is that it is a really nice scenic route. I do really like it. But, well, as you saw, it will not work unless I'm using very specific locos. And it's not just a case of, oh, I've got to be using a high-speed train, because as you saw, if I'm using the wrong livery, even that will result in it not loading properly. Entering at a 100 zone. So next stop is Bedwin. Nope, neither have I. Okay, next station, it's not a stop. No, no one's asking for that one. I'm not sorry about that. In hindsight, when Donald Trump visited the other month, we should have honoured America by completely relaxing our gun laws just while he was in the country. We couldn't even honour America by, you know, giving them our impression of land of the free, and giving people the right to stand there and say, "Fuck off, Trump, you fucking useless cunt." But I mean, let's face it, we did sort of make it somewhat clear just how much we hate him from the fact that there was pretty much no crowds allowed anywhere he went, because they knew that everyone would just be telling him where to fucking go. So speed reduction to 17, a mile and a quarter. We're on a 1 in 175 uphill climb here. The fact that we are not going all that fast has me wondering if it's going to affect our acceleration rate, but it certainly doesn't seem to be, or at least it wasn't there. Crofton level crossing now. So we're now in the 70 zone. Okay, I can clearly see why this is 70 mph. This is quite a sharp curve here. So that one, yeah, that one did make sense. Into the 80 and 90 zone is just over half a mile away. You missed the point, it could be assassination attempt version 2. Now believe me, I got the point, but trouble is, I'm as shit as it sounds, I'm glad that nothing like that happened, because that would mean we were just as bad as the Americans. It's such an American answer to a problem, to shoot the cunt. Yeah, I wouldn't want us to be, you know, sinking to their level. Approaching a downhill section. Hopefully it's not too steep, because we're also approaching the speed limit. So right, 1 in 132 downhill, it's a lot steeper than I thought. Yeah, we're still gaining speed even though we're coasting. I don't know what this yellow is for. Yeah, I've just noticed the ETA saying that yeah, I've got another 12 hours. moment. Can't see what the next signal is. Still can't see it. There it is, so it is a red. That's your turn. Very welcome. Check maps and see if there's any station remotely significant to stop at on the route. Okay. So yeah, according to our display, we've still got quite a way to go. So this is, I think that's Temple Meads. Yes, it is. So it looks like we're actually coming right way around here and then going back up this way, because our stop, is platform 12. That can't be right. No, we've got to be coming in from this way. Well, we've certainly got a long old way still to go. 50 miles in fact. That's not so bad actually, I thought it was a lot further than that. Well, Pusey is the next station. Once we've left well, I'll say left, I mean we're not stopping there. Once we've gone through there, a further max speed increase to 110. There is Pusey Station. What there is of it? Well, there's a bit more to it than some of the usual sort of commuter stations. Well, hopefully we'll make the 110 zone before we start speeding. It's going to be close. Yeah, I did have to throttle down a bit. Not much though. So will 20 mph maintain our speed? I can do without speeding. Yeah, okay, yeah, speed is dropping. I don't mind that so much. Woodborough down there looked very much like a goods loop. Not much info on that particular route. You see Devizes, however the hell you pronounce that, or Marlborough, and see if you can stop at those. Well, if they crop up, say I don't, I'm not even 100% sure what route it's sending us on. I did a route planner from Newbury to Bristol and it took me via Reading. It's not overly useful, that. Alright, so fine for this 100 mph section that's fast approaching. It's going down again to 90. Still got over 1.25 miles before we hit the 90 zone. 90 zone is fairly short. So we are just over halfway now. So speed again fine for this 90 zone. Entering the 100. Again, amazing scenery, it looks great. It'd be even better if this route worked with everything. We're now in a 110 zone, so we've got plenty of speed to, I think it's pronounced Devizes. Well, Devizes it is. However it's spelt, it's it is a bit of a stupid name. Your webcam is frozen unless you found a way of reading the comments without moving a muscle. Oh well. In that case, yeah, maybe the webcam has frozen, but it's not exactly the most important thing about the stream. Yeah, it does look like it has. Oh well. The webcam is not really that important a part of this. Right, we've got a pretty hefty speed reduction coming up. First two at 100 and then almost immediately after that down to 50 and then down to 15. The thing is, I'm not seeing any stations there. I mean, if we're going to be doing 15, I would have stopped, but yeah, if it is a station, it's putting us on an avoiding line. So we got a single yellow here. So this might be where there's another stuck signal. Yeah, it is red. Now the last one did change, so this one may still do so. Yeah, this one has changed as well. Except I nearly throttled up then, but yeah, we are approaching a 15 mph section here. So this must be where we are changing the line. Yeah, on this junction here. There were other trains that were all moving there, so yeah, that not the ETA, the signal being red is actually okay. Okay, I could see a red signal, but that's not us. Yeah, that one there, but that's... I'm not sure where it is. Oh, okay, it's on the line that we're merging with. Okay, looks like you're on a route I sort of know, so you should be able to stop at Bath Spa. Well, if we can, that's very close to... you can now speed up, but yeah, that's very close to Bristol. But yeah, if we can stop at Bath, then yeah, we certainly will. Looks like we're going to have to completely, yeah, just coast. Right. Trowbridge Station is coming into view, so we actually get another station, but I don't think it's one we are stopping at. Erodian has cropped up. Not like you to be this late to stream. Normally you're there within a minute of it starting. Into the 50 zone. Here is Trowbridge Station. I have heard of Trowbridge, so I thought the station would be a bit, yeah, I thought there would be a bit more to it than this. Clearly not. So we're now in a 60 zone. The trouble is it then goes down to a 40. So we'll continue coasting for a bit until we're into that 70 zone that is just over a mile away. yeah, we're on a 1 in 104 downhill. I wonder we were picking up speed there. Okay, so it's leveled out now. Right, so into 70 zone. Thank fuck. Just gotta wait for the rest of the train to get in there. There we go. Let's get some half decent speed up anyway. Bradford on Avon is the next station. Oh yeah, Bradford on Avon station there. It's well, there was more to it than a lot of the other stations we've been through. We have Avon Cliff Halt coming up. That's not a station. I mean, there is next to nothing there. We'll have a look to see what the halt actually looks like. Stations are coming thick and fast now. Freshford in about well, just over a mile and a quarter. Oh yeah, there's the halt there. Tiny little thing. I don't think that surprises anybody, though. I mean, there are stations in Scotland that, you know, full-blown stations that are smaller than that. Freshford. Yeah, there's about as much at that station as I was expecting, i.e. bugger all. Great scenery here. hoping we would get a trackside view, but nope. Some aqueducts that was passing over the top of us there. I just bored the kettle, what did I miss? And a fatality on the line saying you missed it. Which shows you missed the build up to it with the missing track. I had to build up the speed in order to try and clear this jump that appeared. But yeah, I think I did quite well. So further speed reductions. This could, if we are going to be approaching, if we are going through Bath, we certainly can't be that far away from it now. I mean, Temple Meads is only just over 15.5 miles away. So into the 60 zone, still need to lose some speed though, so we are approaching a 50. When did those signs start appearing on the railway tracks? That's like the 300, 200, 100 yards towards, you know, on road signs. Again, fair play to those Widgebury wipers. Yeah, they certainly earned their keep with that one. Was it like the minecart scenes in Temple of Doom? Well, imagine those, but on steroids, and yeah, that's pretty much what you got. It's fantastic. I've been meaning to ask for a while, are the specs of your PC still the same as listed in your About section? Yes, they are. You seem to get better performance than me with more modest hardware. Fuck knows why. But yeah, those specs are yeah, they are accurate. Well, I was just about to say we're now in a 100 zone, which we are, but it's about to come down to 75 very soon. So we'll get a bit of speed up, but not much. And I think, yeah, this is Bath station coming up here. Now we have what looks like a red before we actually get to the station. We're fine speed wise, but because I need to make sure I'm not going too fast if I have to stop. It's this signal here is the one that looks like it's going to be red. So now it's green. Well, that's okay. I've got no problem with that. So we'll be able to stop at Bath just fine. I don't think we're going to get the entire train on the platform. This is definitely a stop that's really more for the commuter trains, I think, than intercity ones, although we might be able to. Yeah, we have. So much for that prediction. So there we are at Bath station. Now I realise that my webcam has frozen, so you can't actually see, but I have really got to go and take a leak, so it's going to be a slightly longer stop than normal, but I shall be back in just a sec. Right, that's the fastest I've moved for a long old time. I know I'm going to regret that. Anyway, I think it's fair to say that the passengers who are getting on and getting off have done so, and also the ETA has fixed itself. So there we go. It's strange, this game does not run well at all on my setup. What is your setup? What's your CPU, your RAM amount and RAM type, you know, is it DDR3, 4, 5, whatever, and what is your GPU. I'm going on the fairly safe assumption that all three of those are going to be better than whatever it is I'm using. So into a 90 zone. I don't think we'll have any more stops on this section until we are into Temple Meads itself now. So if anyone actually watched my Western-super-Mare to Bath run, whichever video that was, in the 166, this section of the line may well be somewhat familiar. So here's Oldfield Park Station. Oh yes, with the the name written out in pebbles there. Now into a 100 zone. Can't flush while you're in the station. I have done on many occasions. Pissing in the bath. I knew someone was going to say something about pissing in the bath while we were there. Some of the previous problems you mentioned, I suspect you might have an intermittent RAM issue, unless of course you've had an upgrade in the last year or so. We'll find out in a sec, hopefully. Here we are, i7 12700K, 3.6 GHz, 64 gig DDR5, RTX 4070 Ti. That system should be able to run this game in its sleep. I mean, it does also, you know, the performance can vary depending on which route it is that you're doing, because some routes are, you know, piss easy, it has no problems at all, because there's not a lot of scenery in that it's, you know, having to render. And then there are some routes, like the Midlands mainline ones that I've been doing recently, where yeah, frames per second absolutely plummets because there is so much that it's rendering. So it does also depend on the route you're doing. Although that said, there really shouldn't be any routes out there that are giving that system any kind of headaches. Your system is too good for this game, that's the issue. Yeah, well, I mean, are there particular routes where this issue crops up? Keynsham station coming up next. Just going to go straight through there at, well, I was going to say at 100. We've somehow lost 10 mph already. So here is Keynsham, which gets a dose of the max thrash from the 125 as we go straight through. So we do have a speed decrease coming up, 1.5 miles down to 90. So into the 90 zone as we enter this tunnel. Memory serves, this tunnel's fairly long. Just tried the Weardale Valley and a couple of northeastern runs similar to the ones you've shown. None of them run tremendously well. Yours look much smoother. Well, if it was the actual Weardale and Teesdale network, yeah, that one shouldn't be that demanding. The other one that I've done, the North East England one, that's a freeware route. And I can only assume the fact that it's a freeware one might have something to do with it. I mean, it doesn't make a great deal of sense. There's no reason why that should have anything to do with it, but it might be. But, you know, I'm redefining clutching at straws with that suggestion, so don't take it as a you know, a given. So I braked way too early. The 25 mph section is still a quarter of a mile away. So here we are in the 25 mph section, the last half a mile to Temple Meads station. This signal is yellow, which is normal. It didn't set off the AWS though. Oh, I just noticed, yeah, no AWS up there. We are stopping on platform 12. Well, it'll actually be 11 and 12, but I just thought I think we may have to slow down a bit here. Right? Oh yeah, of course, this isn't a terminus, so yeah. Oh well. So yeah, gone through platform 11. Here we are now on platform 12. We don't have to stop the entire train on platform 12. Some of it can be on 11. That's not an issue. So there we are. That's the second part done. That was the Reading to Bristol Temple Meads leg. So as far as doing the various route DLCs, that's 2/3 of the route. In fact, we are, in terms of distance, we are well over 2/3 of the way through. So only one speeding error. I only had one speeding error in the last one, haven't I? So yeah, 2 speeding errors total so far. I will absolutely take. That's not bad. I have one more stop request if it appears. Filton, only because my brother lived there when he was at Bristol Uni. I very much doubt it will. But we'll see if we do get it on the final. I'll just for Erodian. So yeah, graphics wise, it's I've maxed everything, but like texture filtering is only 4 times, anti-aliasing is only FXAA. But yeah. Everything else all pretty much topped out, so I certainly don't think it's down to the settings you're using, that's for sure. Right, we are on to the final stretch then, which is us on the South Wales coast. Filton Abbey might be on the final leg. Okay. I don't know why you sent me that in Steam rather than in the live chat, but there you go. I'll try those settings after the stream. Okay, right, so here we are, South Wales main line. This is the final part. Aha! There you go, Jim. Filton Abbey Wood. Yeah, sent it in the wrong chat as a switch Windows to Google Map. Okay, but yeah, we do have Filton Abbey Wood station there, so we may actually go through that station. So yeah, the final leg then, Bristol Temple Meads to Cardiff Central, and we do have 2 stops now for this one. So we will stop at Filton Abbey Wood. We'll also stop at Newport. Yeah, that'll be enough stops for that section. So I don't know how long it took us to do that. What was the time when we finished that one? Let's say it was 1:30. It will do. I'm also going to change the high-speed train back to the livery that we were originally, just because I can. Where is it? Where's it gone? It wasn't a diamond. Oh, it is, First Corporate, that was the one. Right. Let's get this one up and running. I'm going on the fairly safe assumption that the webcam is still frozen. Yeah, it is. I can only assume that's as a result of the game crashing and me having to restart it. When I actually came up with the idea of doing this run, I did think of doing London to Swansea, but if you do that run, you end up with this really ridiculous situation where you are sent through the avoiding line going through Cardiff, which I cannot believe any train's actually done. Yeah, webcam's still frozen, so as far as we're concerned you took a leak right there in the computer chair. Well, who's to say I didn't? Right, anyway, let's go back to the setting up of this thing. Let the passengers on. So we've had another respray. We've also had an update to the train. We're now in a 43-1. You know what, even though it's not like, you know, the classic livery that I really like, I actually don't mind this one. Anyway, get back into the cab. There's not much to set up. In fact, it has all been done. Now it has all been done. So, only 38.13 miles to Cardiff Central, and we have 2 stops along the way. Yeah, I like that colour scheme, reminds me of my Elite Dangerous carrier. God, it's not that bad. On that note, let's get moving. I just love that engine sound. Now I think the line speed actually goes up before we reach that 40 mph marker. I won't be at all sorry if it does, but because we've gone over those points, I'm not so sure now. Right, so we're into the 40 zone. Get some speed up anyway. So Lawrence Hill and Stapleton Road stations in pretty quick succession. We're now in the 60 zone. Yeah, I think it's fair to say Lawrence Hill is not exactly a major station, is it? These small sort of commuter stations, again, they're the sort of ones that you would be using a class 153 on. So even though, oops, wasn't paying attention to that. So even though, I'll only get it if there's no steam sale on starting tomorrow. Class 153 is, it's looking like it is a loco worth getting. I mean, it's not the most exciting of locos, you know. I mean, it's in the same series as the 150, the 156, 158, 159, which I've got all of those, and none of them are exactly, going to grab you as far as being interesting trains to see, but they are all pretty good to drive. Especially the 159, that's probably the best of the lot. Okay, into the 75. Now I have a feeling on this route, as we have Filton Abbey coming up, but I have a feeling on this route 75 is the max speed we can do. So you think back to earlier on during this stream, I was saying that once we left Reading Station, we actually leave the route that you would take if you were, doing a train journey from London to Cardiff. Well, it's very soon we will actually be rejoining the route you would be taking. It does seem a bit ridiculous. We've done so much of this route and yet we are still not back on the actual line that we would be on if we were doing this run in real life. We certainly wouldn't be stopping here, but this is a particular special exception, shall we say. There's certainly no way we're getting the entire train to stop on this at this station either. So we'll get as many of the coaches on here as we can, but that's not going to be very many. Well, looks like we got 6 of them on here. That's not bad going, actually. So yeah, there we are, Filton Abbey Wood. See, compared to a lot of these commuter stops that we have done or been through, there's actually a reasonable amount here. Okay, onwards. So the next stop will be Newport. Mick DC has arrived. I missed the train jumping on here for the last 33 miles. Yeah. You missed it all. one thing you haven't missed though is the frozen webcam. So from Warminster you did the exact route as the Portsmouth to Cardiff Central route. Okay, I mean that I didn't know, but yeah, it makes sense. We certainly went a lot further south than we really needed to. So Patchway Station is the next stop. Well, actually, no, not next stop. I thought there was a yellow signal from here there. Into this fairly short 50 mph zone. Well, anyway, going back to a subject that I mentioned a little while ago and then completely forgot about, because it looks like we are approaching Severn Tunnel. Yeah, if there is a steam sail starting tomorrow, then one route that I certainly recommend for Jim is the South London network. That is quite literally right up your street. But I mean, everything about that route and the other loco DLCs that use it, yeah, it's like it's tailor-made for you. Okay, Patchway Old Tunnel. I thought this was, yeah, I thought this was Severn Tunnel. This is pretty fucking narrow, this one. Just too slow, and didn't take into account the 1 in 68 downhill gradient we're on. Pilning Station, another one we're just going to be tearing through. Carry on coasting here, not really much point increasing speed when we just got to go back down to 75 again. So here is Pilning Station. Wasn't that a memorable sight? But here is where, yeah, we've actually rejoined the route. If we had stayed, you know, on the route that we should have been from Reading, where that one stays on the Great Western Main Line. I forgot about our speed reduction. The fact we're on a 1 in 100 downhill means, yeah, we've got to continue to reduce our speed. So this is the Severn tunnel that we are approaching here. We'll catch up on the first couple of hours later. Yeah, this run has taken a lot longer than I thought it would. I mean, it's, yeah, what, just coming up to 2.5 hours. I did not think it was going to take as long as that. Now, yeah, 1 in 90 uphill. Jesus, what was that blue neon light in the tunnel? I don't know why they've got those there. I think it marks the area where it flattens out, and then where the uphill section starts. But you know, could they have chosen a more sort of like eerie colour than that sort of like bluish yeah, it's not great. Maybe it's marking the Welsh border, possibly, but well, because there are 2 sets of them, so you know, I'm not so sure. We're now into a 70 zone to go through 7 tunnel junction station. I'm speeding once again. But thankfully we have a 90 mph section coming up. I forgot that there was a section that fast. I felt pretty sure 70 was the 75 rather was the fastest on this entire run. Quite happy to be proven wrong on that. Into the 90 zone, and now we can get some proper speed up. That line that peeled off there to the left must be heading to a goods depot of some kind, because you can't really go much further that way from where we are. Max speed reduction down to 75 in a mile and a half. I suspect Newport station is not that far away from there. Actually, maybe it is, because I think Newport is pretty close to Cardiff, so I think it's a bit early for us to be at Newport at the moment. that looked like a bit of wheel slip there. So I'm not sure what this 40 mph limit is for. Guess we'll find out fairly soon. So it is the approach to Newport. Slow down might be where you're going over the Usk Bridge. Honest answer is I've no idea. Crappy old 175 passing us there. That bridge does look somewhat over-engineered for the purpose yeah, that it serves. Right, so that is Newport Station. This is our last stop along the way. We have Peter has arrived. I've enjoyed these, very relaxing despite it looking so old. Oh, you don't forgive it that, do you? And bearing in mind that I'm someone who still plays Atari 2600 games, this is bang up to date compared to quite a few I play. Right, doors have shut. Let's get the last 12 miles done. No more stops now between here and Cardiff. Really didn't want to do that, but kind of had to. So now into a 50 zone. Let's give it a full whack again. We have a 95 zone coming up in a mile. Oh, bollocks. Yeah, didn't take into account the downhill section here. 1 in 101 downhill. No wonder I'm picking up speed. Okay, so into the 75 zone, so we're all right now. Have you ever completed adventure on the Atari? I assume that's VCS. Yes. I've completed it on level 1, but I mean you can do that in 5 minutes. And I've completed level 2. I never did complete it on level 3 though. Yeah, we're in the 95 zone now. Last month they released a remake of Adventure called Adventure of Samsara. I mean, I've really not been paying any attention to the whole retro gaming thing for quite some time, so yeah, I didn't know anything about it. But, I might give it the once over. The only problem is they often feel tempted to, you know, change the graphics. They will insist that it's improved the graphics, but I like the fact that the graphics look so dated. It's one of the things that I like about it. You know, I like the fact that the dragons you're fighting look like ducks, and you know your sword looks like an arrow. I've got no problem with that. So if they've kept how it looks, you know, the same as it was when the first one came out, I think 80, 81 I think it was it came out, then yeah, I'm quite yeah, I'd certainly give it a once over. I wouldn't do a video on it, but I'd certainly have a look at it. I think it's safe to say I braked way too early there. It was still half a mile away from the 75 limit. From what I can see, the game is on Steam and the graphics are modern. Yeah, you're not selling it to me with that that statement. So now we're in the 75 zone. Fucking hell, yeah, I'm really losing the old concentration here. But published by Atari, yeah, because the Atari of today is definitely not the same Atari that released the VCS or 2600 or whatever you want to call it. I got that Yars recharged a month ago because it was pretty cheap, but they changed it to a twin stick shooter. It's quite fun, but not patched on the original. I mean, the original is one of the greatest shooters of all time. So if you're going to do a yeah, an updated version of that, oh, you got to be really careful. I'm not familiar with it, and seeing their twin stick shooter really puts me off. Yars Revenge was not a twin stick shooter, so why on earth would you now turn it into one? So yeah, that's a big red flag being waved there as far as I'm concerned. Years ago I reviewed a Commodore 64 version of it, which I think was sort of like freeware game that was released, well, relatively recently at the time that I did the video of it. That wasn't bad, but again it kind of lacked the atmosphere that the original had. There's another 175 going past. We have double yellows, double yellow aspect, which means that as things currently stand, that's a red signal, but that 20 mph speed there I'm sure is a set of points, and it will change us onto a line which is not a red signal. The ETA certainly suggests that is the case. Cardiff Central is now very much in view. As it is, this one is double yellow as well, so whatever train it was that was causing those signals to appear is moving on. got me thinking, was there a single player C64 game that required you to use both joysticks? Well, there was the 64 version of Robotron, wasn't there? Which was shit, but it was also optional. You could play it with single or twin joysticks. That's the only one I can think of. I'm sure there are others, but new version of iRobot is fun. It's a little stroby though. I don't recommend it if you're not fond of flashing lights. I'm not familiar with it. Yeah, just noticed that I'm 1 in 80 uphill. Yeah, speed was really dropping off there. Not fully sure, but I think the C64 port allows you to plug in 2 joysticks. I never got it on C64 though, so not fully sure. Smash TV that was. No, I never got the C64 version of that either, but then I was not a fan of the original game, so that's why I never got that. I mean, it's weird, gameplay wise, Smash TV and Robotron 2084 are pretty much identical, and yet I really like Robotron and I can't stand Smash TV, so try and work that one out. So we'll get the whole of the train on the platform, which we'll manage without any problems at all. Here we are. And that is it. That was London to Cardiff in class 43, or the Intercity 125, whatever you want to call it, the original high-speed train. Okay, there was a bit of an issue at the start of the the Southwest Expressways. As always, I've really got to get that sorted out. So let's see how we did for that final stretch. Yeah, 5 speeding errors. That was not great. So 7 speeding errors in total for the entire run. I suppose Whizball would technically count. Well, no, actually, no, I wouldn't say Whizball counted, because whenever you were using 2 joysticks, it was always 2 players. You could have been, like, you know, on the same team, you know, one player as the you know, as the Whizball and one as the cat, but you're controlling 2 different things. So, you know, yeah, I wouldn't say Whizball is one. Merci et bon voyage. So, speak it like a native, don't I? I felt safer with you in the cab than I would with most drivers, for real. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I yeah, there aren't many who would say that. So there we are. That then is, yeah, so the full run took, according to this, 2 hours and about, 2 hours 3.5 minutes. Well, that's shorter than some, you know, single scenario or single route DLC quick drives that I've done for request videos. So yeah, that's not quite so quite so bad. So, well, there we go. That then is, yeah, that is that. Looking at the time, it is now 10:30. So, yeah, we've been doing this one for 3 hours. It's a damn sight longer than I thought it would be. So, even though I said at the start I might do a career scenario, yeah, this has been going on for quite long enough. 3 hours, I think, is more than enough for any normal human being to be able to stand. So I think, yeah, we'll call it a night. I don't know when the next live stream is going to be. I don't even know what game it's going to be. I can tell you it's not going to be another long distance run in this. I very much doubt I will do any more long distance live streams. So yeah, this is the second and probably the last. Doesn't mean there won't be any more Train Simulator Classic live streams, but it just won't be of these long runs. So yeah, at some point I'll decide what the next game will be and when the next live stream is going to be. Be very surprised if it's this year. Speaking of very surprised this year, we'll just quickly mention Elite Dangerous. Those of you who are playing Elite Dangerous, you can now get the Panther Clipper for credits within the game. I did not expect to be saying that any time this year. I was absolutely certain it would be next year before that happened. I could also only assume that the other ship, what is it, the Corsair, must be, you must be able to get that in game with credits now, because otherwise they've completely skipped it. So I'm sure that's another one you can get in game. So anyway, yeah, rather off the subject. So there we go. That is that one done, and we'll see you whenever the next one comes along. I've no idea when that is. So in the meantime, go away.